What's up guys, my name's Midtown Jack and welcome back to another episode of In 3 Minutes. Probably not going to call that anymore because this might take longer than 3 minutes, but we'll see how we go. So, congratulations, you're in quarantine or self-isolation or lockdown or whatever you are, but the point is that you want to upskill and you're thinking, you know what, now's the time to make some music. But how exactly do you make music? Well, that's a good question. Easiest answer, watch tutorials online. And here we are. First thing you're going to want to do, go to Google and you're going to want to search Ableton Live. Or Ableton Love. Ableton is love. Go to the Ableton website and grab a copy. There's free trials, there's a light version that's pretty cheap, you get a discount if you're a student, or there are other places on the internet you can go. I don't know.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders.
So you downloaded Ableton from wherever you downloaded Ableton from. You install it, you open it up, and you end up with a screen that looks a little bit like this, and you're really confused. This is called the session view, and it's pretty much irrelevant unless you want to do a bunch of live performance stuff. So we go over, click up in the top right, boom. Here's where the money's at. From the left to the right, like a book, it's where we're gonna make the track. Hit play to start playing your banging track, hit stop to stop playing it, and hit record to record your beautiful singing voice. There are two kinds of tracks. There are audio tracks. You wanna put audio in these. And there are MIDI tracks. You wanna put MIDI in these. You don't know what that is, but I'll tell you about it in a minute. You can delete them, or you can make more by right-clicking. There's also a bunch of stuff down here, but don't worry about that for now. But what next, Midtown, you ask? Well, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is head back to Google. Here we are back on google.com, and you wanna type in Splice sounds. Now, there's about 50 ways to skin a cat on this one. That poor cat. That's awful. That's not what we're doing today. But going over and signing up at Splice Sounds, that's an awesome place to start. Because that's gonna give you straight access to a bunch of awesome sounds to start making some pretty cool music right off the bat. You wanna go over up here to the top right and click Install. This is gonna download your Splice Sounds Manager. From here, install it, and look, you can look up stuff through the Splice Sounds Manager, but it's not very good. So come back onto the Splice website, click on Sounds, and now comes the hardest part. It's time to have an original creative idea. You're gonna wanna start thinking about what your track's gonna be, basically. But a great place to start is some drums. So we'll type in kick drum. Go over here, click on the little play button, and you should hear the sound start to play. Download a sample that you like, and then go back and open up your Splice Sounds Manager. At the top of the Splice Sounds Manager, you'll see the sound that you just downloaded. Click this guy over here to copy it to your clipboard, go back to Ableton, go to an audio track because this is audio, right-click and paste. Boom! If you want to make the clip shorter, click at the end, drag it in, make it all neat and tidy. Along the top here, you got a bunch of numbers. Basically, this means it's bar 1, beat 1, bar 1, beat 2, bar 1, beat 3, and so on. Copy them out, one kick comes each beat. And once you've got a couple of bars, you want to click, highlight them, and click up here on this little looping symbol to loop it. Press the play button or space bar to hear the sound back. That sounds terrible. Why did I pick that? Once, like any good producer, you've changed your mind a million times and picked a different sample. We can do the same thing for a bunch of other sounds, like hi-hats, snares, and claps. Just go back into Splice, pick the ones you want, and then layer them up. Beautiful. Now it's time to move on to MIDI. Now, what is MIDI? MIDI is, oh no. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, but we're gonna think of it as digital music signals that we're storing and sending to a synthesizer. Right-click to create a new MIDI track, go over to Instruments, open up Instrument Racks, and choose your flavor. Let's go with a nice bass. Just click on it and simply drag it onto the MIDI track. Next, we wanna select the area that we're working with, right-click, and choose Insert MIDI Clip. Double-click on it, and you'll open up the piano roll. This is like our digital keyboard, but it's super easy because we don't need to play it live. Just go in and double-click to place notes. It may help if you wanna click this little headphone up here and you can actually hear what you're doing. Amazing. Once you've messed around and found something that sounds good, click back in the bottom right to minimize the piano roll and hit spacebar to hear it all together. Now, believe it or not, you're pretty much done. That's the basis of a track. But we all know that tracks have to go for more than 5 seconds, unfortunately. So this is when we move on to arrangement. Click and drag to select the area that we're working on, and you'll be able to move stuff around the timeline. Now remember, when we hit play, we play from left to right. So that's how we're gonna structure our song. Oh, and make sure you turn off the little loop button up here, otherwise we ain't getting nowhere. You might have noticed when we were playing the song back down the bottom here, that's looking pretty red. And while if you ain't redlining, you ain't headlining, believe it or not, that's not actually a good thing. So if we move over here, these little orange bars, they're volume control. What you want to do is make some stuff quieter. A great place to start is setting a kick to -5. From there, what I would suggest doing is setting everything to -infinity and then slowly bringing it up. When it sounds like it's in the right spot compared to the kick, well, that's probably a good place for it. From there, I'll leave it to you. Keep pushing out the arrangement, download more samples from Splice, or go through Ableton, or maybe even download a third-party synthesizer. We'll get to that one in the next video. My name's Midtown Jack, and this has been a quick in 3 minutes tutorial, maybe, of how to get started with music production. I'll see you next time.